Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. In this one, I'm going to be showing you the fastest way to scale your dropshipping business to $10,000 per month. We're going to walk through kind of the strategies, the kind of campaign structures, and really the process that you need to be following to scale your business. So if you're currently making a few sales right now and you're struggling to really kind of scale profitably, then this video is going to be really valuable for you, because I'm going to walk you through strategies that are working now post iOS 14, because I know iOS 14 and tracking and everything is a bit of a nightmare for everybody, but we are figuring things out slowly but surely and making it easier to scale businesses and scale your dropshipping ad spend and things like that. So I'm going to walk you through that in this video right now. If you do find anything in the video useful as we're going through, make sure you drop a like on the video as well, because it really does help push this out to more people. But with that being said, let's just jump straight into it. So the first thing I want to cover off in this video is really the testing strategies. Since iOS 14 has landed, things have changed slightly, and there's been kind of developments and progress and things. And the old strategies do work to an extent, but there are obviously new strategies being uncovered, kind of thing, every single day. So I'm going to kind of talk through some new strategies that we're starting to find that are working quite well right now, and then I'm going to kind of talk about the scaling element of it as well. So there will be a timestamp in the video showing up on the screen right now that takes you to the scaling bit. So if you don't really want to see about the testing stuff, you can jump to the scaling piece as well. So first things first, testing strategies. So this is kind of what we feel is kind of working well right now. So basically, when it comes to the first stage of testing, it's really going to be around your ads, okay? Because you want to test your ads, you want to find out which ones are performing the best. So you're going to be testing the different creatives that you've got, okay? And the best strategy that we've come across right now is to literally have a campaign. So this is the campaign, and within there, what you want is you want to have 2-3 different ad sets, okay? So these are the ad sets. This is ad set 1, this is ad set 2, and this is ad set 3. Yeah, and then within here, what you want is you want to test some different, let's get rid of that. You want to test some ad variations. So let's say you've got ad 1, ad 2, and ad 3, okay? 3. And that's the same for this one and same for this one, okay? So you want to kind of test them, you want to see how they're performing, and then once you've figured out which one of these variations is working overall across the different kind of ad sets, then you want to pick one. So let's just say ad 1 was the best ad over everything, say, okay? So we're kind of looking at, CTRs, we're looking at CPCs, we're looking at CPMs, we're looking at the add to cart rates, initiate checkouts, and obviously the purchases with the ROAS as well. Okay, so in this example, we're saying basically ad 1 was the best, kind of came out on top. It was the one that was getting the most engagement. It's getting the the best kind of add to cart rate, initiate checkout, hopefully purchases kind of thing as well, and was giving us the best return on ad spend initially through that initial kind of test. So we're basically going to be testing these. And in terms of these ad sets, you're kind of just picking broad kind of interests that are relevant to your product. So, if you were selling something that was, let's say, something to do with cycling, you would just pick broad interests to do with that product, and we'll kind of just test it in terms of click-through rates and things like that, purchases, and we'll see what performs the best. So once you figured out which one of your ads is working well, then the next step really is to move into the kind of data collection stage. So this is where we're going to be figuring out exactly kind of which audiences are profitable. And there's 3 kind of different strategies that we've got with this, okay? The first one I'm going to talk about is something we've been using for many years. This was before iOS 14. It's still working right now, and it's still super, super strong. So this is what we call the broad open audience, okay? So a broad open audience is basically where you create a campaign and you're targeting absolutely no interest at all. You're leaving the interest completely blank, and you are targeting 18 to 65 plus, male and female, depending if your product can be sold to men and women. If it can, then leave it open. If it is something that's specifically aimed at females, then just target females. But with the broad open, we're basically relying on Facebook to optimize, okay? So we would create a campaign within here, within your Facebook Ads Manager, and within that we would have 10, 15, 20, even upwards of 30 sometimes different types of audiences in there. In most cases we start with 10, but you can go larger, and within there it's literally every single ad set is 18 to 65 plus open audiences, no interests. It's targeting male and female, and the countries, in general we do top 4, but you can do kind of whatever countries you want, and you're doing that literally, it's completely open. There's 0 interests in there. You don't want any targeting whatsoever. You're literally letting Facebook do it. So you would have ad set 1, ad set 2, 3, 4, 5, and sort of onwards down there, literally all the same. Every single one of these is identical. We're literally creating a duplicated broad open audience, okay, and we're running these at a really kind of low budget. You can do this at ABO if you really wanted to, do like $3 a day, or you could just do a CBO and just run it. Let's say you were doing 10 at $3 a day on ABO, you just do your CBO at $30. Okay, and you would just do that and let it run and see. So that's just kind of one example of something that's working really well right now. Another example of one that's working really well is the single interest targeting, which most people are obviously familiar with, where you have a campaign in place, and within there you have your kind of ad set sort of thing, and inside these ad sets you're going to have a single interest. Okay, so if you're doing a dog product, you could just have, say, dog in that one, or you could have what's that supposed to be, heart dogs in that one. You could have dog brands, a dog brand in that, like Pedigree or something in that one, and in this one you could have I don't know, like you could have like a Dachshund or something. Okay, as in dog breeds, and that says Dachshund. You could have dog breeds in there, and you would just basically test interest testing. And most people are familiar with a single interest testing. If you've done any kind of ad campaigns before, you've been running your ad campaigns on Facebook, you know about single interest testing, and most people do kind of thing. So that one's pretty standard. That one's still working well, sort of thing. So that one's that one. And then the other one is something that we've been testing a lot more of recently. We kind of have been doing this in the past, but now because of kind of iOS 14, we've been kind of really looking at this in a lot more detail again. So this one is kind of what we call sort of grouped flex targeting. Okay, and this is something we're kind of testing at the moment. It's not something we've done too much with, but it's showing promising signs right now. So this is group flex targeting. My handwriting is terrible. Group flex targeting, and this one is basically where you will create a campaign, and you will create a number of different ad sets. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of show you one ad set for here. Okay, so this is in ad set 1. Okay, and within ad set 1, what you would do is you would start to group interests within specific categories. So you could do, say, brands, you could do websites, you could do like personalities, like that, and you would basically group 5, 6, 10 different interests within this one ad set under each of these categories. Okay, so if you were doing brands, for example, if it was dogs, you could do Pedigree, I don't really know any dog brands, any other kind of dog brands, and you would basically list them kind of thing like that into that one ad set. Okay, so brands would be in here, and you would list a bunch of different brands, and then what you would do within the ad set is you would narrow that down by something like dogs, for example. Okay, so we're kind of grouping brands together and then narrowing it down by a broad audience. Okay, if you were doing websites, for example, we'll just kind of move this over. If we were doing websites, let's say we were creating ad set 2, and it was to do with websites. In here, you would have dog websites. Maybe there's a website called ilovedogs.com. You would have that in there, okay? And then you would have another website, another website, another website, another website. And then again, you would narrow that down by dogs. Now, this is something that seems to be working really well right now. Like I said, we're still kind of testing this, but this is something you can definitely try in terms of your testing strategies and things. Now, when it comes to scaling, now this is obviously the reason behind this video. There's kind of like a brief intro in terms of different kind of testing strategies that are working right now. But in terms of scaling, this is something that we're finding is working really well. Okay, so let's just say in your broad audience, okay, you have a bunch of different kind of ad sets in your broad audience, okay? Let's just say this goes down to, 20, let's just say, okay? So you have a broad open audience where you have 20 different ad sets in there that are all targeting 18 to 65 plus, men and women, top 4, there's no interest in there whatsoever. And you realize that ad set 3 is profitable, okay? It's got a 2 to 3 kind of X return on it. It's working really well, okay? And what you can do with this here, two different things depending on how you're doing it. If you're running a CBO, then you could duplicate this out into a new budget, into a new campaign, should I say, and then launch it at a higher budget. Okay, do the same thing, a higher budget, and duplicate this one, this ad set 3, 5 to 10 times in the new campaign. So this is a new campaign. This is a new campaign. Okay, so duplicate this one ad set out into this new campaign with a higher budget, and then duplicate that ad set into that new campaign 5 to 10 times. Okay, that's one way of doing it. If you're running ABO on this and you're actually running, let's just say every single one of these is set at, say, $3 a day, for example, and you're running ABO and this one's working at $3 a day, what you can do is you can actually duplicate it into the same campaign, at a lot higher budget. You could do, $50 a day on the ABO. So it must be $1. $50 a day on an ABO. You could even go up to like $100 a day on an ABO. Okay, so the rest of these are all $3 all the way down. All these are $3. Okay, all the way down here, it's all $3. But then with this one you've duplicated into the same campaign, but just at a higher budget. And that works really, really well. Okay, and you can pretty much do that strategy for the other two campaigns as well. So if we just go back over here for this one in terms of the group flex targeting, if you found that the brand's ad set was working, then you could duplicate into a new campaign at a higher budget and run it that way. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Same with the interest, the single interest targeting. Same thing. If you get 2 or 3 of these that are working, duplicate them out into a new campaign at a higher budget. It's as simple as that when it comes to scaling. What you don't want to do, and this is really, really important, is you do not want to change the budget on a live ad set. Okay, do not change the budget on a live ad set. Okay, I can't stress that enough. If you want to scale, then you need to be duplicating that ad set. Never ever change it. People say you can change it, but literally I've been doing this since 2016, 2017 now, kind of thing, running paid ads, and I have never ever had success scaling with changing a budget of a live ad set. All it's ever done is messed it up. The only time I've ever been able to scale is by duplicating those winning ad sets, those winning interests, those audiences, whatever, into new budgets. Okay, and when it comes to sort of scaling this further, all you do at that point then is keep duplicating those new campaigns, those new ad sets into higher and higher and higher budgets. And that's literally it. That is how you can go from testing kind of what you're doing now and in terms of making a few sales to scaling to 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 plus per month by just running this simple strategy here. That is it. So in summary, what we're basically doing is we're taking an ad set from a campaign that is profitable. So let's just say we've got ad set 3 here. Okay, this is in campaign 1. Okay, ad set 3 is working really well. If we're running an ABO, then you just duplicate ad set 3 into the same campaign. Okay, so it might become ad set 31, for example. But this one then, you just put, say, $50. Let's just say that one was running at $3 on its own. That was a terrible 3. That's running at $3 on its own. You would just duplicate it into the same campaign at $50 a day. If you're running a campaign at CBO, however, and ad set 3 is working, then you would just duplicate ad set 3. Let's just do ad set 3. Yeah, so say you're doing a CBO at $30 and ad set 3 was the one that was working, then you would duplicate that into a new campaign. So this is campaign, you would duplicate this into it, ad set 3, oh my god, ad set 3 into here, and you would just multiply that 9 more times, so you have 10 ad sets of that ad set in that new campaign, and that new campaign could then go up, say, $30, or you could do $60 or $100, kind of whatever you want to do at that point, and you'll have 10 ad sets basically of ad set 3 that was working. Okay, so that's another way of doing it, and you can just then replicate this. You would just do this over and over again. So if campaign 2 was working there, then you would do the same thing again. You would take campaign 2, you would duplicate it out, so dupe it out into another campaign, and this campaign then, let's just say you're doing $60 a day, you could now do, say, $200 a day on it. Okay, and then this would have the same ad set, this would be duplicated over here, and you would just duplicate it out 9 more times, so you have 10 of ad set 3 in that third campaign, and that's it. You just keep duplicating them out to higher budgets, and that would allow you to scale very, very aggressively, and you'll be able to keep going with that $500,000, $2,000 a day kind of thing. Keep scaling up to that kind of level. So that is the way that we seem to be finding is working right now after iOS 14. It's very similar to what was already working in the first place kind of thing in terms of duplication and scaling, but there's a few extra kind of strategies in there that we kind of finding is working a lot more. I think with iOS 14 you have to rely on Facebook a lot more now in terms of optimizing for you. So this is why we've kind of leaning more towards the kind of broad audiences again, and you're really focusing on broad audiences, because letting just Facebook optimize is the best way, and then finding an ad set that's working, duplicating it out and doing it that way seems to be working really well as well. So yeah, if you're making a few sales, if you're getting sales coming through and you're having trouble sort of scaling the budget, try this strategy in terms of duplicating those ad sets out and then duplicating them across a new campaign. Seems to work really well. But yeah, I hope you found this useful. If you did, please drop me a like on the video. Drop a comment down below if you have any questions. If you do want help with this, if you want my personal support in terms of helping you grow and build and scale your dropshipping business, then I do have some availability in my calendar right now for a free strategy call. If you're interested in learning more about that and interested in seeing if we can help you grow your business even further, then there is a link in the description down below. Just click on that, pick a date and time that works for you, book in the call, and hopefully I'll be speaking to you very soon, and we'll see if we can scale your business to the highest levels possible. So if you do need my support, if you're looking for additional support, additional coaching, then make sure you click on that link and book in that call today. But like I said, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.